The selection of books for fabrication of work is, I guess, one of my favourite parts of what I do. It really involves one of my other great loves, which is walking. The idea of the flaneur, or the late 19th century French or the Parisian flaneur who basically wanders around the city in a particular fashion. And it's really, I mean, Melbourne has a history of walking around the block, near the Block Arcade in the 1870s and 1880s. The history of that I find, I guess, imbues my work in a way. So I'll wander around and visit second-hand bookstores, and I'll look for particular sorts of books. And quite often I'm looking for books that are early 20th century to mid 20th century, particular colours, quality of paper. I look for particular end papers, gilded foredges, marbling, certain, I guess, elements of book construction which are particularly appealing to me. Whether there is a map on the inside cover on the end papers, whether there's marbling on the foredge, just certain things will suggest something that can be done with it. And quite often I'll know exactly what I'll do with the book at the very moment that I see it. Was it a two wheels? From when I was quite young, my mother used to take me to the ballet. My father was a great opera buff, and so I'm familiar with those forms of creativity. As well as that, we had a house full of paintings and Staffordshire pottery and beautiful Georgian furniture, and I guess I've always had an appreciation for creativity, and I guess that real crafted quality of a beautiful object. So I think that that's really been an important part of my life. The majority of works that I make have been cut with a scalpel. There are others which have been folded by hand, others that are torn and sewn with various surgical utensils. I guess to begin with, my work sprung from my love of the written word and of the published word. Contrary to the opinion a lot of people have about me, that I'm something of a Philistine, or someone who is destroying literature. My idea is certainly to bring it up to a new level. A lot of the works that I make are made from books that have been basically seen as having reached the end of their life. Quite often I feel as if I'm living in a different era. I dress as if it's the 1950s or the 1960s. I work with mid-century books. I guess being up on the 7th floor of a building like this, I can almost look out at the world happening from outside my window, which I like, and I really enjoy that being at arm's length. Both the Nicholas Building and Colour House were designed by Harry Norris, who is a prominent Melbourne architect, and the Nicholas Building was built in the 1920s and Colour House was in the 1930s. The style of this building, you'd call it early Art Deco, and the Nicholas Building it's named for the Nicholas family, who had the patent for aspirin in the earlier part of the 20th century, and we're a very wealthy and prominent family. Built this building in 1927. There have been a lot of artists and craftspeople, jewellers, shoemakers, galleries. A lot of people have been up here, and it's a real hub of artists and a real hive of activity. Was it a